plane and we broke the taco in half. And my grandmother right away covered it and put it in a pillowcase, and she said, gosh, I hope they don't find out you did this. And I said, what are we going to do? And she says, I'll teach you how to fix the santos. And so we went home, and she mixed all the colors out of herbs, made the glue out of hooves. We went to get hospital from the hot springs. All the things that we needed, we stayed about 2 weeks with that little santo, just getting the colors ready. And there were no colors in the store, so we couldn't buy them. So I started copying the santo and trying to get it to look as much as possible as the other. And with grandmother's help, it looked exactly like the one we broke. So then I said, don't throw the other colors away. I said, even then I'm going to start doing that. So I made a copy of San Francisco de Asís, and I made the Blessed Virgin Mary. And I did with the colors that I had until we ran out of colors. But it was like in 1935 that I fixed that santo. And from then on, I started painting. Well, the people that lived, the neighbors that lived there would always say, well, we want this kind of santo, so I would make it for them. But they would give me a rabbit or a chicken, and I never got money for my work. But that was okay. And then there were people that got sick, and they had devotion to a certain santo, so they wanted, like Our Lady of the Holy Rosary, so I would paint that. But this was something they asked. And then my brothers picked it up. Julian picked up Carmen, and my other brothers did most of the kid work. And I was already doing coats embroidery because all the neighbors did their blankets like that, their bedspreads. Except they didn't do the whole bedspread, they just did the Spanish flowers, the Spanish trees, and the Spanish animals, whatever it was, they did. And sometimes someone would come along, one of the artists that lived in the area. Andrew Dasberg was a lot of our work. Kenneth Adams also, the Fosters, Mary Golden. Penny from church was some of our work. And the people that knew us and the people we worked for. But we kept our santos in the bedroom and living room and all in the walls. And people would come and sometimes say, well, will you send me that? But one of the people that used to buy a lot of my work to sell in Denver was Elmer Schuler. He went into all the homes and bought the old santos, the old furniture, the old everything. And he would fix it. Some of the things weren't fixed. He would fix it. And his wife is the one that taught me how to remove the sarapes. Because one time they bought a whole bunch of old sarapes, and she was the one that taught me how to remove them. So I'd be able to help her so that he would be able to take a load up to Denver to sell. And so I knew a lot of the people around the area. Another school teacher that helped us an awful lot was Mrs. Torres. This was J. Maes's mother-in-law, Doña Elvira Torres. She was also a wonderful person. She was more of a motherly type than a teacher. But she taught us how to hem our dresses, how to keep ourselves clean. Just about everything that a young girl that is growing up should know. She was always there for us, but she was also a good teacher. Jeremiah was my teacher in 3rd grade. Fred Martinez was in 5th grade. And they always used to teach us more or less what went on in our community, nothing different. And then we got the nuns, and they started teaching us about different places, and I started wondering, since I have been going to Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and to Denver to work, it would be wonderful to maybe one day go all over the United States, not maybe the whole state, but some part of the state. And this is one thing that I always dreamed of. And there was a lot of people, the newcomers that were coming in. And the first thing, they would hire me, but then the first thing they would ask, they would say, why do you have this job, building and working with building? And they were always asking that. Being a girl, you know, they think that a man would be doing this. And I said, no, in our communities, like in Tampa, when I was growing up, there was about 6 fireplace builders. and about 24 enjaladoras, which was the women that plastered. So many fireplace builders, and just to feel the need of each community. And then in Los Córdobas, the same thing in Cordillera. There were all these people, Chavez, the Ariel Chavez, the movie of Now Miguel. That family, they always trained everybody else to do the plastering of their homes and the fixing of their homes. Sometimes the whitewash on the walls. We did the Tierra Blanca. And now I guess I'm the only one doing it because I got a job in Arroyo Seco last year. I did a 10-room house. And the man had been waiting 2 weeks for someone to put the Tierra Blanca on the wall. And he said, you're the last one. And I said, well, I know how to do it. I don't want to do it, but I'll do it because, he wanted the house that way. So I did it. So we had to go to the cave and get the Tierra Blanca. We got a 50-gallon barrel, an extra pail just in case. But I had to make pails and pails of flour paste to clean the Tierra Blanca. And they really enjoy the work. See, when I make a fireplace or when I do a job, any kind of job, I also like to see the happiness and the satisfaction of the customers that I work with. And I keep getting called back. The biggest have been the sagebrushing, the vaquero room I did 2 fireplaces. And I did 15 in the back and about 7 or 8 more in the older rooms. And then I did most of the ones in the Taos. I did some in the Quality Inn. And I did Ben Carp's bed and breakfast. I think I did about 7. I did Rio Pueblo bed and breakfast. I did 11 there. I've done big jobs. Now, one of the things that I always remember when my grandmother, when I was growing up, is there were people that didn't have money to pay, or there were people that have just enough money to pay that were on a fixed income. That's another thing that people call me and say, look, I have a job, but I can't afford to pay the big wages that you're supposed to do. So then I do a private job and I ask, how much can you afford to pay? So usually I work for what they can afford to pay. Because this is very common in our communities nowadays that people have a fixed income. And sometimes the wind is coming through the cracks in the windows, the firewalls are cracking up, there's a house needs patching, or anything that needs to be done. I have a crew of 6 that works with me. So sometimes I will take time out and from one of the big jobs, and we go do some of this work. Another thing is that I'm a volunteer into about everything. I'm with the Hispanic Arts Council now, and I've been with the Holy Cross Hospital Auxiliary, I think, since Ruth took me in 1942. My work there was as a hospice. They couldn't find anybody to take care of the dying. And Ruth said, I think you could do it. And I said, I don't know about that. Well, the first man that died with me, I cried like if he had been in the family. It was very sad. Then one of the nurses said, you have to learn not to show your emotions. And I said, well, I don't know how to control that. So I kept going from time to time to help out there through the years until the sisters left. I did it a lot of years. But something happened to me in those years that when my own died, I don't cry at all. I've got conditioned so good that I don't feel anything. And I probably would cry a month or 2 months after, but not at the time. I have to take care of everything, the funeral business and everything. And here's my mother and sisters and everyone crying away and all. And after it's all over, they turn to me and they say, I'm ashamed of you, you didn't cry. And I said, well, I was taking care of everything else and everybody else, and I didn't get a chance to cry. I said, but I will. Something has to happen that will make me cry, and I will, eventually. But growing up in a family where you take responsibilities, my father died when I graduated the 8th grade. I didn't go to high school, but I kept going to the library.